Welcome back, folks, to Jamin's Daily, episode number 27. Today, we're going to spend some time reviewing some streaming services. In case that wasn't clear, streaming services. This is going to be a review episode. We're going to go over some of the various streaming services that I have actually been watching and have an opinion on, folks, and that's why you tune in to hear Jamin's opinion on Jamin's Daily. We're going to get right into it. We're going to start off with Apple TV Plus. And before we do that, let me let you know how that even happened. I was shopping my cable. I have AT&T Uverse, and sometimes I'm unhappy about it. The biggest pet peeve, thing that irks me the most, is the remote. Sometimes it doesn't work, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world when you can't watch what you want to watch because you can't even change the channel. Okay? So I was going to switch to... What were we going to switch to? Some competitor that didn't use some different technology. They were going to have to wire things, but the reliability was going to be better because of that. What was their name? Jeez Louise. It's going to come to me, folks. I'm having a Biden moment, but it will come. I'm thinking hard, still not here. But when we were doing the switching, they were going to throw in a free Apple TV device with that. And so I literally ordered it. They came to try to install it, but they were having problems. They're like, we're gonna have to do this, we're gonna have to do that. So we were just like, you know what, never mind. But I kept the Apple TV box. It's like $100 or more, and so they billed me for that. So now I have this Apple TV, and I'm a recent Apple convert because I had Androids, Samsung all my life. Finally, it's only been a year, I get an Apple iPhone. So I get the Apple TV and been very happy because with that, I've been streaming these different services and starting off with the Apple TV Plus. And one of the first episodes or first series or things I watched on it was a show called Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet. And Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet, we're going straight to Wikipedia to give a little bit of information, and then I'm going to give you my opinion. So it's an American comedy web television series starring Rob McElhenney. This guy was on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I never really watched that show, but he's hilarious. And this premiered, it just came out in February of this year, and they renewed it for a second season, which was supposed to start. They renewed it before they even started. So anyways, they're supposed to, they did a special episode called Mythic Quest Quarantine, which was the last episode in May. I binged, this is one of the only things I have ever binge watched in my entire life. I watched this entire series, 10 episodes, in 2 days. And really, 80% of it in one day. I saw maybe only 2 or 3 episodes on the second day. I watched like 7 or 8 episodes on the first day. Because it was that good. It was hilarious. It's about game developers. You know, this isn't for everybody. But for people... You don't even have to be a gamer anymore. I'm not a gamer. I don't play games anymore, but I still know what's up. And so, you know, it's a series that's set in a video game development studio and explores the intricacies of the human condition through hilarious and innovative ways. This is the premise, according to Wikipedia. It's got a very diverse cast. And you know what's cool about this too is that sometimes I feel on some of these new series things, what's in vogue nowadays is, you know, a lot of these new series is very diverse. Diversity is great, whatever. But you know, I remember watching Friends, great show, I guess. You know, now they get flack. You know, people talk smack about Friends because it wasn't diverse. So, you know, these shows should mirror life. Not every friend group, not every peer group has like the rainbow of friends. Like you have I have a black friend, I have an Asian friend, I have a gay friend, I have a Mexican friend. That's not how people roll. All right, in anywhere, in most cases, right? But in this show, because it's like a game developer, now you can perhaps, they have like one of the lead characters who's like the financial guy is like a South Asian. I don't know if he's Indian or Pakistani or whatever, but this show checks all the boxes for that. There's an Asian girl who's super funny. She's like the main character's right-hand man. There's a lady in the episode who's a lesbian, funny. There's a black girl, lady, who's the love interest of the lesbian. It's just really, it's done, the writing is done really well, super diverse, but not in this like SJW forced down your throat way that people, it's just cringy a little bit. People push back on that. This show, very diverse and perfect. The way it's meant to be when you're trying to pull that off. This show does, most don't. So I give this Mythic Quest, again, if you're not really into gaming or have experience with gaming, you may not really, you might be a little lost. But if you do, or if you liked It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you may also like this, because not only is one of the main character one of those guys from that show, but I think one of the other guys on that show is one of the executive producers. He's not in the show, but he's an executive producer of the show and a writer, so he had his hand on it. Next show, the other show that I've been watching or did watch, and I haven't been watching it recently, but when you get these streaming services, you just start looking to see what's on there. And one that caught my eye was a show called See, S-E-E, like see, like you can see something. And the main character in this movie, or this series, is that Jason Mumbai, something like that. Mumbai. He's a Marvel character now. The guy in the water. What's his name? What superhero is that? Jeez. I always draw blanks when I'm on this podcast sometimes. Let's Google him while we're doing this. Jason Come on now. Momoa, I think it is. Jason Momoa. He's the lead character. And he played Aquaman. That's it. I'm not real big. You're going to find out when I tell you about Disney Plus. I just haven't seen any of the Marvel movies. I saw maybe 15 minutes of Aquaman. I just never finished them. I don't know why I'm not able to. But this show is like a post-apocalyptic set hundreds of years in the future, where some kind of, I think, a virus kills like 99% of, there's like 7 million humans on the planet now. And one of the main things why it's called See is because now they're all blind. Ooh, that was a bad delay on that other camera angle. Let's see if it's gonna pick it up. No, it's still lagging. Bad. But so, See is based in the future. They're blind. And this Jason Momoa, they all have crazy names. I can't even think of what the name in the movie, in the show. Let's read the Wikipedia. It says, in the distant future, a human race has lost the sense of sight, and society is left to find new ways to interact, build, hunt, and survive. Baba Voss, who's Jason Momoa. I wish I knew how to say this dude's name. I hate it when I can't say their names right. Momoa. Baba Voss, the chieftain of the Alkene tribe, takes in and marries a woman, Magra, who comes to the Alkene seeking shelter. while Voss has been unable to father children, and the woman is pregnant when she first arrives. The thing about this show, it's very biblical in that sense. You can find these parallels, and like she's Mary and he's Joseph, and it's like this. There's a savior figure in the show that's trying to teach them religion. This lady who gives birth, she's giving birth to like the Savior's children. So it's very, again, like it's not an immaculate conception, but she's giving birth to the Savior's children, and these children can see. They have sight, so they're the only ones who can see. You have to pretend like they can't. I watched like the first maybe 4 or 5 episodes, maybe 5 episodes. It's pretty dark. In some ways, it's good. There's a lady, I don't know what the actress is, but she plays like the queen who's trying to find these children who have sight, and who's trying to find this savior figure, because they're considered to be blasphemers. So they're looking for them, and whoever plays that, her name is Sylvia Hoeks as Queen Cain, ruler of the Payan Kingdom. She's actually Maghra's older sister, which I don't know because I only watched like 3 or 4 episodes. I didn't know that at that time. She's really good in this show. One of the crazy things is, again, so they're all blind. So she talks about in a scene, she talks about she's going to pray because in this show, like, it's very, again, there's a lot of religious parallels, and one of the ones too is that they pray, think to the sun. The sun is the god, and so she says, I'm gonna pray, and in that scene she masturbates as she's praying. Like, that's part of their prayer ritual. Okay, and there's another scene when she's praying again, and this time she has the assistance, so she's not doing it by herself. Somebody else is performing, use your imagination while she's praying. That's part of the ritual for praying. So, it's creative in those ways, folks. But what I didn't like is that the fact that they're blind, and as they're traveling, as they move around, I didn't get the sense that that's how people who were blind would be moving around. I felt like they could have done some better camera angles to make it more convincing that they're blind, or at least have more in the storyline as to how maybe they have like another sense, so they can't see, but they can move in ways now, even though they can't see. If you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. I wonder, that's probably a big criticism of the show in general, I would imagine. we're not going to read into the critiques of these shows. Finally, the only other real show I watched on the Apple TV was the Tom Hanks. Let's see, folks. Our audio and video is lagging slightly. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our first break. When we get back, we're going to talk about Greyhound, which was an exclusive to Apple TV Plus with Tom Hanks. And we'll see if the audio is working better. Maybe. I think it's the program. See, way off. When we get back, again, folks, thanks for sticking with us. We'll talk about Greyhound, Tom Hanks movie, when we get back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back from the break. Jamin's Daily, episode 27, streaming service review episode. We're going to try to struggle through some technical difficulties, but at this point, it's whatever. We're just spitting out these episodes. If the audio isn't working too well, maybe this isn't one of the episodes we will put on YouTube. It'll just be an audio. So sometimes life gives you lemons, folks, so you have to make lemonade. So right now we're going to make some lemonade as we talk about Greyhound. But you know what? Before we even do that, we're going to talk about Sage Choice Insurance Agency, who is our sponsor. You can call them at 361-400-2411. You can go to quote from Jamin. Quotefromjamin.com. Get a free quote. Auto home. Super simple, secure. We'll reach out to you. Try to save you money on your insurance, folks. If you're a loan originator or a real estate agent, give us a call. We want to help you. And we can. Trust us. We can help you close your deals. 361-400-2411. So let's get into Greyhound. I watched this movie, which is exclusive to Apple TV Plus. It's a war movie that focuses in on submarine warfare during World War II. And Tom Hanks is like the captain of a naval ship that is protecting merchant ships that are sending cargo and supplies, etc., to Europe from America, right? This was a big part of the war that, isn't talked about as much or glamorized, but it was crucial. So the German U-boats would sink all these boats trying to make it over it. If you can't get supplies, then you can't fight a war, okay? So this was an integral part of the whole thing. And so it documents this particular route and phase or area in which these merchant ships were very vulnerable, and they were being protected by these U.S. naval ships. And all right, we kind of dodged a bullet there, folks. I'm gonna have to edit a lot of this out. My computer died on us right there. And that's because I knew it was running out of battery, but I got lost in this podcast with you, the audience, and I didn't I ended up not encoding overload. Oh wait, it was telling me something. No wonder there's some kind of, come on now. There's some kind of overload. See, guys, remember, I'm learning as I go. It's talking about there's an encoding overload this program is telling me as I'm trying to do this. So I'm going to have to Google that, find out what OBS encoding overload even means. But we were talking about, again, the Greyhound. Great movie. Tom Hanks plays pretty much the same character that he plays in a lot of movies, like Saving Private Ryan, for example. So very stoic. In this movie, though, he's a very religious man, and very high suspense and drama and action. It's actually fairly short. It's like an hour, exactly like an hour and 30 minutes. So it's not this long drama. It's like action-packed from the beginning to the end. It's like maybe the first 15 minutes is a little build up into stuff, but then from like minute 20 until minute 120, 120, it's all action packed. They're being attacked. I liked it. It was a good movie. So that's, one of the reasons maybe to have. I'm not gonna say it's the reason to get Apple TV Plus, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Now, in addition to the Apple TV Plus, so I got this Apple TV device that lets me stream. So then I got HE. I was gonna say HEB, not HEB. That's the grocery store that I go to. HBO Max. That's HBO's streaming service. And what's strange about this is that these companies are cannibalizing their own customers, in my opinion, because I've been so happy with some of these streaming services that I'm strongly considering cutting the cord, finding ways to just use, because if I find the streaming services that I like, you can do 5 or 6 of them and only pay $60-$70 because they're all $10 or so, $13. So you're way under $100, whereas I pay way more than that for the cable. So it's weird how they have HBO Max, because I'm looking at, I have HBO and there's a lot of times there's nothing good on. HBO Max, way better. Beginning with, so we get HBO Max, I'm looking on there, all these different things you can watch. But what I have been watching is The Boondocks. We talked about this in an earlier episode. I binge watched this, and I had seen The Boondocks on Adult Swim on the Cartoon Network years ago. Like this I was looking at the Wikipedia says this was a 2005 TV series. And that's right when I was in college. So I remember this in my college years. Very good show. Very funny. It's very problematic in 2020, if you ask me, if I was judging, in many ways when you look at it that way. But that's what makes it great, if you ask me. Then I watched Rick and Morty. One of the other, probably the second show that I've ever really binged watch was Rick and Morty, and I watched that. I believe was 3 seasons of 10 episodes, so maybe 30 episodes I watched. They're like 25 minutes each or so. I watched that over the course of a weekend, and I think it's brilliant, super good. It's smart. It's very vulgar and gutter trash comedy in ways, but then it redeems itself in more clever, intelligent joke. It really is unique. I see why it caught on and did very well. I recommend it. Currently on HBO Max, I'm also watching Raised by Wolves. I can, if out of 5 stars, I have to give it like 4.5 stars. First season just ended. I like sci-fi. I'm not like a sci-fi nerd or so, but it hits all the right buttons for me. It's dark in ways, but then it's a lot of dialogue, just straight up acting. You know what I like about it is it's sci-fi, but there's not this heavy reliance on CGI, computer generated, the graphics and green screen stuff. There is a lot of that for sure, but there's a lot of just interaction within the characters, character building, and to me that's what makes it really good. The Joker. I did not watch that at the movies. I watched it on HBO Max on like a random weekday by myself in my bedroom. And you know what? Great movie. Joaquin Phoenix is a genius. He's crazy, which is why he makes a great Joker. And as when the movie was ending, in my mind, I'm thinking, wow, they can go so many ways with the sequel. I'm thinking the sequel should be about him at the Arkham Asylum. They can kind of give some like flashback feed details about his mom and Mr. Wayne, perhaps, and show her insanity, kind of how she went insane, and her being there, kind of flashback parts, and then him in there causing havoc, and then him breaking out, getting broken out somehow. Because I think the Joker's, his followers of sorts, and that could be part of the other part of the movie where they're planning to get him out. They break into Arkham Asylum, he breaks out and gets out, and that could be, an hour and 50-minute movie in and of itself. And then you have the third one where he's out and he's full on the Joker, suit and everything. But that's just my idea. That's what I came up with after I watched this movie. But I watched it on HBO Max. Watching that movie on demand on a random weekday was worth, the $12 for the month almost. So these things have great values, these streaming services, if you really think about it. It's just one of the problems I have is that it's like options overload. It's like you have so many choices of what to watch. It's hard to determine what to watch. Does anybody else have this problem? If you do, to email me at jamonsdaily@gmail.com. Let me know if you have this problem as well. Or if you have a favorite show on here that you can recommend, again, email us at jamonsdaily@gmail.com. Go to our Facebook page. Comment on the Facebook page. Let me know. If you have an idea for a segment, you have an idea about what we're going over about the streaming services, let me know. Favorite show, maybe we'll talk about it. But I feel like one of the biggest problems with the streaming services is that there's just too many options. It's hard to determine. I sit there you can spend 30 minutes just trying to find something to watch because you just can't make up your mind. But finally, on the HBO Max, it just started this on Friday night. It's Sunday night now, folks, to give you some context. So just 2 days ago, Friday night, I decided to watch it's hard to print, it's like Apocalypse, but Metalocalypse. It was on Adult Swim as well. These shows, they're like 20 minutes each. And there's several seasons, Metalocalypse, but it's like follows, let's see here. We're gonna rely on some Wikipedia to help me here, folks. So in this series, it follows this heavy metal band called Deathclock, right? So they're a death metal band that enjoys a popularity level unheard of in reality. The band itself is ranking as the 7th largest economy on Earth by the end of the second season. The series creator described them as like the Beatles, just 1,000 times more dangerous and 1,000,000,000 times more stupid. And so there's the fictional band members' names is Nathan Explosion. Technical difficulties. We gotta take this, folks. We're gonna take a break. When we get back, we're gonna finish this episode. Back from the break. Having some interruptions in the podcast, folks, but you know what? That's what happens when we spend a lot of time podcasting. People need to still get a hold of Jamin, and so it interrupts Jamin's Daily, but you know what? It's alright. We'll figure it out. So it's hard to say this, Metalocalypse show that we've been watching on HBO Max, because again, episode 27 of Jamin's Daily, we're doing some, reviews of streaming services. And HBO Max, very good. I think I recommend that one. It's number one on my recommendations. And so Deathclock is the fictional band in this show, and they are they Finnish? Maybe from Finland or Sweden. Their names are Nathan Explosion, Swissgar, Swiftgelth, Pickles, William Murderface, and Taki Wartooth. Okay, and so they're Northern Europeans. Okay, so they have this strange. You have to watch this show. At least I do. I have to watch this show with the captions on, because it's hard to understand what they're saying, because they're speaking with a Northern European accent. And they're speaking English. And then they're speaking English in the way that Northern Europeans perhaps would speak English. So the syntax, perhaps, the way they say things and the order of things is a little different too. So for normal English speakers, it is kind of odd. It doesn't just hit the ear. So makes sense to watch it with the captions on, which is what I've been doing. This show, if you like heavy metal, or if you just like rock music in general, one of the coolest thing about this show is the inclusion of music into an animated, and I'm not talking about cheesy Family Guy kind of music. I'm talking about hardcore rock and clever lyrics into an animated series. So if you enjoy that, it really makes it unique in and of itself for the show, which is why I've been watching it, because I like to watch things that are different. So that wraps up HBO Max. Let's move on to Disney Plus. The good thing about Disney Plus, if you like all the Marvel movies, they're on there. If you like all the Star Wars movies and series now, it's on there. Really, what I've been enjoying with my kids are the old school Disney movies. So we watched Aladdin. We've been watching Monsters, Inc. We were watching Beauty and the Beast. So we're watching all the good Disney stuff back in the day, because I feel like that's when it was best. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But again, on the Disney Plus, just so many options, so much content. And it probably pales in comparison to Netflix, which is going to be our last streaming service we're going to talk about. But it's still a lot. And I feel it's more, it's Disney stuff. So you kind of know what you're getting. The variety, there is obviously a variety, but not this endless variety that I think Netflix has been able to, or the original content, because it's all Disney stuff. So I guess they're going to say it's original because it's Disney's, their stuff, but it's not original to Disney Plus. Whereas Netflix has all these original things. And Disney Plus right now, I have it for free, because when I got my phone, it came with it. And I think that one's also $12 or $8. I haven't figured out my strategy. Maybe we'll save that for another episode on your streaming strategy. I want to know, folks, maybe you have these. Which ones do you buy? Do you buy them all? Because I haven't even seen Hulu or Amazon Prime. They have an Amazon streaming service too. So how many could you have? Like if you could only have 5, which ones do you get? And how much would it cost? And how many could you get for an X amount? Like, if you only wanted to spend $100, could you get 6 or 7 maybe? I think you could. And you'd still be maybe perhaps cheaper than what you're paying for cable. So I got to look into that. With you, folks at home, we're going to get into that. Our streaming service strategy. But finally, Netflix. The granddaddy of them all. The elephant in the room. The crazy thing about Netflix is I can remember in 2005 living in Bryan, Texas, and one of my roommates subscribed to Netflix, but we would get the DVDs in the mail. This is before they went streaming, so it's pretty crazy. I like Netflix. It's almost like an afterthought. So many people have it. It's almost like those $10 gym memberships. You don't even go anymore, but you still spend the $10 because you might go. And that's how Netflix is in a lot of ways. It's like, I have Netflix, it's $12. Sometimes I don't watch it a lot, but maybe when I do, or I like to have the option, so $12, right? I feel like they've capitalized on that being first. And so many options. I watch a lot of Chico Bon Bon with my kids. Really haven't caught on to anything else. I can't say there's a single thing on Netflix that I have to watch, like must see. Like Raised by Wolves on HBO Max is must see. When that season 2 comes out, I'm gonna watch it. I'm highly anticipating it. Can't say that for Netflix, but it's still there. It's on auto pay, so I just gonna have it. What I do want to say about these streaming services, folks, is whenever whoever's able to accomplish this, whoever's able to create a streaming service for live sports, that cable TV, that'll be the death blow to cable, because you won't have to have it anymore, because you could have your streaming services, and then as long as you can have the streaming service, or you can stream a particular game, or you can stream a particular conference for college football, or a particular league, whether it's the NBA or MLB or something, if you're able to stream and get all of it. See, because right now you can't, because it's owned by, you know, the rights are owned by CBS or NBC or something. So, but there's going to be a time in which they're not making enough money, so they're going to have to then say, oh, well, for another price, we're going to, so we own the rights to NFL games at 3 p.m. on NBC. Or right now, let's say Sunday Night Football, NBC. But then they're going to say, listen, you can also watch it. They have their own streaming service, which is Peacock. So are they going to stream the games on that service? That's how it's going to start. And then there's going to be a way in which there's going to be a sports streaming service all by itself. And they're going to have to pay some way. They're going to make it work. But once that happens, folks, say goodbye to your cable television, because who's going to want it? Especially with 5G that's coming around now. You don't have to worry about the connection. Everything's just going to come through. You can stream it, high quality. That's the future, folks. You heard it first here on Jamin's Daily, because we're all about the future. Remember, we're writing a book about the future, folks. It's called Humanoids Are Humans. And I think episode 28 might be maybe 29 or 30. An upcoming episode we're gonna get back into the novel that we're working on. But until then, just want to thank y'all for sticking with us, trying to grow our community, folks. So remember, you go to our Facebook, like and share, send to your friends. We've added several more different podcasting places into our distribution. So again, we're on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio. So we definitely expanded that. So I feel like we're going to continue to grow. I want to thank you for sticking with us. And remember, the best is yet to come.